right, folks. You may know Anne and Marta here from the Liberally Social podcast episodes, or you may know Ryan from the Alexandria Brief candidate interviews. But get ready for something we've never done before, a collaboration.
That's right. When one of our hosts goes rogue and runs for office herself, the show must go on, and Ryan has bravely volunteered to join up with us for this special round of City Council Firehouse primary candidate interviews.
Are you all ready to meet the first candidate on our interview slate for the Alexandria City Council Democratic Firehouse primary? Welcome back to Liberally Social.
And the Alexandria Brief. The Alexandria Brief, in collaboration with the Democratic Social Club of ALX, proudly presents a podcast about, who are the candidates and who am I voting for? We get it, and we are here to help. You can listen, watch, as we take each candidate, not out, but in to discuss what on earth is happening.
We want to help our fellow Alexandrians get to know local candidates, like actually get to know them socially. And we are definitely not journalists, but Ryan is, and we're not here to tell you who to vote for. That's your decision.
We're just a handful of local politics nerds who are going to invite candidates, have great conversations, and record them all for you to listen to while you do a dance to the rain gods and thanks for melting so much snowcrete this weekend. Hopefully, it'll help you make some decisions when the Firehouse primary election day rolls around this weekend. So you see, what we're doing here is actually a public service.
All right, let's all introduce ourselves so everyone knows who's here today. I am Ryan Belmore, publisher of the Alexandria Brief.
I'm Anh Phan. I live in Delray.
And Marta Schantz.
Today we're welcoming the guest of honor, the person whose role I am taking today, and that is Democratic candidate for Alexandria City Council, Sandy Marks. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, this is incredibly surreal. That was surreal listening to that. Surreal.
Well, did I do okay?
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. I want to be part of the crew. I can't believe this little podcast now. Yeah, in collaboration, like on YouTube, whatever. Anyway, this is very exciting. Very proud.
Yeah, for Alexandria Brief listeners or readers who aren't familiar with the Liberally Social podcast, Sandy was the one who came up with this podcast years and years ago to interview when we had, 13 or something city council candidates in a primary. And so it is kind of surreal to have the show go on with her as a candidate herself.
Primary education is important. So
absolutely.
I believe in it.
I love it. Okay, Sandy. Now, our way to get to know you, the person, and helping our listeners and viewers connect is running through what we like to call our list of essential questions for assessing a person's character. I'm going to ask them to you, rapid fire, and the goal is to get through as many of them as we can in just a few minutes. And Marta's going to keep time. Got it?
Okay, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I'm going to do this the way we want. Okay, here we go.
Here we go. Sandy, do you have any pets?
I do. I have a loud, very mean cat, and he's a bad person, but I'm all he's got.
What are you reading, or what was the last book that you read?
I just finished the third in the Mistborn series. I know.
Good.
I know. And it was really good, and I'm begging for more, and I don't have time to read this week, and it's kind of frustrating me because I need to know more.
Okay. Car, bike, train, bus, metro, scooter, or your own 2 feet? What is your favorite mode of transportation?
My favorite mode of transportation is my own 2 feet. I think a lot of people have seen me just walking around. I walk for stress. I walk for just sort of mental space and exercise. I walk to get where I'm going, but I also take walking meetings a lot. I like to walk with people in person and talk. I feel like it's a different, sometimes it's called for. And also I like to walk while I'm on Zooms and meetings. So I go a long way on foot.
Okay, Sandy, today is Lunar New Year. What is your sign? Is astrology real?
All right. Anybody who has listened to the podcast know, I do not believe astrology is real. And also it's so real. So I am a Taurus. I have learned that I am a late Taurus. which means I'm steady, but still adventurous and curious. I have a friend who moved to Sausalito and got really into this stuff. And so she's told me all about me, and it seems pretty accurate. So I'm not really sure what to do with that, but I like being a Taurus. So
What is your favorite Alexandria restaurant and what do you order?
okay, so I knew this was coming and I asked my kids and my kids were like, Mom, we never eat out. You eat bag salads from Giant. So I was kind of like, well, that's embarrassing. And then the other one said, well, you really like 7-Eleven and your favorite food is fish food ice cream. And so I thought neither of those are really impressive per se. Fine.
Ryan's really coming in strong with the sound effects. This is
I know,
great.
Ryan. I feel like Marta's gonna nix them, and nobody else can nix sound effects.
The thing is, now I have to do equally.
I eat a lot of cheese curds from Cheesetique. I spend a lot of time at the Majestic down the street, chatting with friends behind Evening Star. I like local restaurants.
Okay. What is your go-to karaoke song?
You guys, this is what I was scared of. I've never sung karaoke before.
What?
I've never sung it, but I do have a vision. I do have a vision of singing Taylor Swift's Calm Down. And at the beginning saying like, this one goes out to all our enemies or something like that. I don't know, but but I've never sung karaoke. I can speak in front of a crowd all day, but I'm a little nervous to sing.
Have you ever written your name in the snow?
Marta Schantz.
Okay, this was on me. It is on my bucket list to write my name in the snow. Ryan, I don't know if you saw this on our list of potential questions to ask. I even have like what's called a shiwi, which is a tool that women can use to pee while hiking. Anyway, I haven't succeeded yet.
Okay, that was a question for Sandy, and we need to add some time because of that little diversion.
Okay, Maggie.
Sandy, what is your go-to method of anxiety relief?
My go-to method of anxiety, I mean, it's just touching grass, getting outside, walking, breathing, planting feet on the ground. And secondarily, I would say watching any kind of episode of Star Trek with my oldest son, gives you hope and takes your mind off.
Time's up. Beep, beep.
That was a good one to end on. Thank you so much, Sandy. That was so much fun. I'm going to throw you over to Ryan now so we can actually start to get to know you, Sandy, as the city council candidate.
We're done talking about shiwis?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I'll have to do some research afterwards. I'll have to find some time this week to do some research. That was fun and informative, but now let's get a bit serious. It's time to get to know you, the candidate. Every candidate has a standard 30-second elevator pitch. Pretend we're total strangers and tell us yours. Why are you running for city council?
Oh my God, it's not going to be 30 seconds. Okay, are we ready? I forgot about this. All right. I am running for city council because we are in a unique situation. And the situation is that as opposed to having a choice of 15 candidates to fill 6 slots on city council, and to be able to sort of play with that and build a team, we are trying to fill one specific spot left by Kirk McPike, who, the Kirk-shaped hole in city council is going to be large. He carries a lot of weight, does a lot of the work legislatively, on choice, on climate. And these are things that I really care about and want to see done. So when I finished my second term as Alexandria Democratic Committee chair and people started coming to me asking me who can fill this role, who can pick up this weight, I thought to myself, God, I got to recruit someone because there's a short runway here. There's not a lot of learning time. We need somebody with, a network who knows who to call, who can really get going immediately and build coalitions. And my 13-year-old turned to me and said, Mom, you should just do it. And I said, well, I can't. I'm the party chair. Wait, actually, I'm not. I can do this. So I consider this an extension of my previous service to fill this really tremendous gap that the brilliant Kirk McPike is leaving behind for a year and a half. And I'm really, really glad to do it.
Thank you. Over to Marta.
That was 1:23. For the timing.
And I didn't even get to like the reasons, anyway, it's fine.
We've had much longer. So, 1:23. Not too.
This is going to
not
make
too
me a better
far.
host in the future if we can continue to do this. So,
All right. Well, we're moving over to the policy corner of this session here. Our loyal liberally social listeners know that we usually dive straight into our like four corners policy issue conversations, like you're at a party and you're in the corner talking policy, because that's what we do in Alexandria. But we're going a different route with City Council Firehouse primary interviews because we're keeping them tight. And we're starting with just one open-ended question. What policy topics are important to you, and how would you address them on City Council?
okay. I'm hoping this can be a two-way conversation or a four-way conversation and not
Great.
just me sort of monologuing. I would like to start off by saying, first of all, that, I've talked to a lot of people in the past couple of weeks, and people who have listened to Liberally Social. And what I think is so interesting and gratifying, but also, has made me feel some kind of way is that, people listen to the podcast, and to some extent it's been very successful because the personas that we sort of embody here are really believable and they're true and they're facets of us. But, when people talk to me, they expect the fun mom. They expect the person that sort of welcomes you in and raises a glass and hands you a drink and, warms you up and makes you comfortable enough to talk about important things honestly and directly. And they are less used to hearing me talk about policy because, frankly, I hand that over to everybody else. So, they don't realize, like, we write the questions together. We talk through what are the things that are most important to us together. And, in the podcast, I hand that over willingly. That is not my role. That's not the part I'm playing. So, it is interesting sitting here with the three of you and trying and trying very, very hard to be my actual self instead of my podcast self so that people can get to know me as an individual instead of a liberally social lady. The four issues that I'm talking the most about on this campaign are valuing education, trying to get some education funding from the state. We have a very finite, small budget pie here in Alexandria, like the rest of the country, and we just spent a lot of it on Snowcrete. So, the way our budget works, we've got, a third of it goes to schools, a third of it goes to personnel. That's that. And then everything else has to come into that final third. And so what I'm trying to do is increase that pie a little bit by going after some state funding. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that right now because, we're in crossover in the state legislative level, but certainly next year. I have great relationships with our Richmond delegation, and I'm hoping we can talk through that. Northern Virginia has a reputation for having a ton of money and not needing resources, but that's just, I think anybody who lives here knows that's actually false. We have large responsibilities here.
All right. So number one,
yeah,
school funding or just funding. All right.
Education in general.
Education.
A big part of that too is, I've got a bunch of endorsements from school board. We really need to work together with school board to move forward and taking care of our schools and our kids. And I'll be the only ACPS parent. Well, actually, Aaliyah has a kindergartner in ACPS, but I would be the only of the 6-person council. I'd be the only ACPS parent. And I've had kids in the system for 10 years. So I think that's a big deal to have representation there. Number two would be housing affordability. This is the issue in my life is housing affordability. I'm really, really interested in lowering the scarcity pricing we've got going on in Alexandria by creating more supply. And everybody talks about that. But, we talk about it with different language. We need to invest in market rate housing and also affordable housing, and those things work together in concert. So we need to not only produce housing, very low AMI, right? We also need to produce housing at all levels so that we can move people through that housing stream and free up some of the lower cost housing for people who need that, and move people who are ready to sort of step up in the market into other homes. 80% of the kids in Alexandria live in aging apartment buildings. That was me as a kid. It's really important when you're living in an apartment building that it is high quality, that it is energy efficient, that we are building sustainably, and that we are connected to transit so we can get kids and families and parents and seniors to work, to where they need to go, to school and home again in time to eat dinner at a table instead of spending all their time in the car. That's 2.
That's 2.
3, equity. We talk about that a lot. I know that's sort of a buzzword. What I am, but we can't leave it off, right? What I am here to talk about is access as the key to equity. We have so many programs in Alexandria to inspire and ignite equity in the city and make everyone's experience the best it can be, take care of people's real needs. And there are plenty of people, who I hear saying, Alexandria doesn't do this, it doesn't do that. We do. They just maybe haven't found an on-ramp to it. They don't know it exists. So I would really like to help build in access to equitable programs. And a big part of equity for me is climate and climate justice. We talk a lot about that on the podcast. It's a huge deal for me. I'm hoping we can talk about that more later if I know you, and I think I do, maybe we will. But this is, right now on council, I think our city in general is very climate friendly. And we know that on council, we've got 2 sure thing votes on climate, and that's Vice Mayor Sarah Bagley and Kirk McPike, and we just sent Kirk to Richmond. So I would like to be that second sure thing vote on climate. And number 4 would be, because we're only supposed to have 3, but we can't have 3 in 2026, it is defending democracy. I hope everybody is aware that previously, before my 2 terms as Alexandria Democratic Committee chair, one of the reasons I got involved in the ADC to begin with was because I wanted to see local Democratic committees push farther, do more, be more vocal, and show up for coalition organizations like Moms Man Action, the NAACP. We've got Sierra Club. We have so many different really great organizations that are members of the Democratic Coalition that I felt like we should be lifting up and joining with in Alexandria. And we've done that. And I'm really, really proud of that. And the reason I was able to do that and to run for ADC chair on those, on those issues is because I was so involved in them before running for ADC chair. So, defending democracy, big deal. I hope everybody knows inherently that I am absolutely and unequivocally committed to protecting our immigrant neighbors and our LGBTQ neighbors and kids from abuse by the federal government, in loud ways when we need to be loud, and in quiet ways when we need to not draw fire from the man across the river that likes to learn everything from the internet. The end.
All right. 4 policy points. There we go. You made your own corner, Sandy.
I did. And that was too excited. See, I need to not be podcast Sandy. I'm being cool, guys.
Yourself.
Okay.
I want to do a quick flag, Ryan, as our actual journalist on this recording. Are there follow-ups that you have in mind?
Yeah, I think I have one that I keep hearing from people. They keep saying that there's 5 candidates, Democratic candidates. You have gone through one forum now, so maybe you have a little bit more enlightenment. Many of these things are democratic norms or beliefs. What separates you? When people are looking at 5 Democrats and trying to choose, many of you believe in the same exact thing, and I'm not sure if there's been opportunities to really distinguish. Going through one forum now, or did it change last night, or do you have something that actually separates you?
Do I have something that actually separates me? Ryan, that was sassy. Yes. I mean, first of all, I'm the only parent. Second of all, I'm the only woman. If I'm elected to Alexandria City Council, this will be the first female majority-led city government in Alexandria's 276 years. That's a big deal. And that's why, Virginia's list and, vote pro-choice and everything are in this with me. Is because that is an important statement. We've never had an opportunity, even in Alexandria, to elect 6 women to council. We've never even had the possibility of having a full female council. That's not even what we're talking about here. We're talking about a small incremental shift that has just, more women than men on city council on that dais. So that's a big deal. The parent thing, listen, that's a huge issue. 1/3 of our budget goes to Alexandria City Public Schools. We've got a school board that is, putting together budgets that are meaningful to everyone. And I will be a voice on council that is incredibly invested in the success of our schools, because I have been invested in them for a long time. There are PTAs out there. There are parents out there working really hard to make our PTAs and our parent groups focused on anti-racism, focused on protecting each other's kids and each other's parents from ICE. We've got a lot of really good work going on in the schools, and we also have some real inequities and things that need to be addressed. We're doing huge capital improvement projects. I mean, there's a lot going on in the schools. I would love to be a bridge between school board and city council as we talk through those things. And Ryan, just experience, as I was listening to the debate last night, nobody is going to know what this job is until they actually get into it. I think if you talk to any sitting elected official, they will tell you that what they thought they could do and what they can do are very different. We are a Dillon rule state. There are lots of constraints on there. What I would like to say is I don't want to be so audacious as to say, I am different. I will know exactly what to do. That's just not accurate. But what I will say is I do know what I don't know. And I feel really comfortable and confident asking those questions. And I am also confident that I will not be intimidated in those rooms, in talking with, other elected officials regionally and locally, or with staff as we talk through what we can and can't do. I think I will be a good person representing, climate, labor, education, women's issues, the schools, all of those things. I think I will be a good partner to work with and somebody who can address those things without as large a learning curve and maybe with less fear of sort of intimidation by the process.
Okay, Sandy, I also want you to elaborate a little bit more on that. What will be your management style and how would you govern from the city council dais?
Different people know me in different ways and have experienced my leadership style in different ways. My campaign right now would probably laugh at this question because it is funny working with friends, right, as opposed to working with volunteers or with employees, staff, that type of thing. I have done a lot of career testing in my life. And I will tell you what it says, because that is not my own assessment of myself. That is a data-oriented approach. I know that I do come across as somewhat personable. I am incredibly committed to logic and truth. I need things to be true and accurate and factual and cited and data-driven in order to get behind them. Once I'm behind them, that's fine. I'm happy to lead with empathy and communicate well about that. But I do need things to be incredibly logical. I also am a very collaborative leader. My immediate instinct is always to treat people as peers at all levels of leadership, government, and the process. I assume that we are all adults and we have been hired or volunteered or elected to do a specific job that we are capable of doing. And I rely on that and rely on people as though they belong there until otherwise learned. The last thing that I will say about that, and we could talk more about it if you want, if you have follow-up questions. Oh, we're getting long? Okay. Okay, well then ask me about my communication style, because I want to talk about that.
We can't talk about that, but we are going to move on to the next section. Sandy.
Oh, rats. Okay.
We're keeping it straight here.
We finished our policy chat, but before we call it, we'd love to give you a chance to brag about yourself, share any endorsements you might have, or any achievements you're particularly proud of.
Oh man, where's my list of endorsements? I am endorsed by Vote Pro-Choice and Virginia's List, which I'm really proud of. Vice Mayor Sarah Bagley, who I'm very lucky to have on the team. Delegate Alfonso Lopez, our Clerk of Court, Greg Parks, which is thrilling. That guy is amazing, and more people need to get to know him. From the school board, Abdullahi Abdullah and Kelly Booz and Ryan Reyna, one school board member from each district in Alexandria. I have spent a lot of time in all corners of this city, and I'm proud of that. Del Pepper endorsed me, which is incredibly gratifying and validating. Tim Lovain and Lonnie Rich, formerly of the city council, Darylyn Franklin, a community leader, Jen Walker and Sue Kowalski, Jesse O'Connell, lots of former members of the EPC. So I've got a lot of people on the team. I think what I'm most proud of is I'm getting a lot of comments on the language that I'm using to talk about issues. My instinct and my professional training is to use language that is without ego. So my goal is to lift people up into understanding. It is never to make myself seem impressive. It is always to arm people with information that they have so they can feel confident and go out into the world and advocate for themselves and things they care about. And I think I'm doing that. So yeah, I'm proud and I'm excited. And I wonder if there's been enough meat here for people to know what we're doing. I hope so.
Does it go by a little faster on the candidate end, Sandy?
Oh my God, it goes by so fast. It goes by so fast. And it's like you want to get everything in there, but I also know there's like big blocks of talking, which is bad. I don't know. Also, no 90s jams.
We'll have to supply that in our own heads. Yes.
We have sound effects, Sandy.
Thank you, Ryan. Ryan aims to please.
That's all I'm trying. I put it on the bottom. I'm not sure if all of you guys can see that, but sandyforthecity.com is your website. If they did not hear what they want to, if they still have questions, want to get in touch with you, it's scrolling on the bottom of the screen.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. And with that is all we've got for today, Sandy. We kept it tight. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so jealous. I want to stay on and interview everybody else. Okay. Thank you so much for having. This has been very odd, and wonderful, and I appreciate you so much.
Well, and with that, it's time to turn the lights up and turn the music down as our party comes to a close. We are going to remind all our friends about online voting for Saturday's Firehouse primary.
Yeah. Is that all? Is that all I do?
That's all you do. Ryan's going to close us out.
Yes, I am. This has been a collaboration episode of Liberally Social and the Alexandria Brief. And it's our City Council Firehouse primary series. And let's see here. Brought to you by the Democratic Social Club of Alexandria and the Alexandria Brief. We'd like to thank our guest, Sandy Marks, for Alexandria City Council. You can learn more on our website at sandyforthecity.com. The Democratic City Council Firehouse primary is happening this Saturday. Can you believe it? And let me switch some information here. And I want to put this one on the bottom here. You can vote at Cora Kelly Rec Center and Beatley Library from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. There's also online voting for the first time. Instructions are on Alexandria Democratic Committee website. Until 5 p.m. You can register until 5 p.m. on Friday, February 20th. You fill out the registration forms at alexdems.org/elections. alexdems.org. It's right there on the home screen. To receive a ballot via email and to vote on the Election Buddy website on Saturday during the voting hours. You can join the Democratic Social Club on Facebook or on Instagram at DemSocialALX. For more information about the Liberally Social podcast, follow the Alexandria Brief on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, or Substack for more information on news in the city. If you missed any portion of this interview, want to watch it again, want to share it, all available on all of our social media websites, as well as on alexandriabrief.com. The creative manual labor that made this Liberally Social and Alexandria Brief interview happen is done with love by Marta Schantz, Anh Phan, and Ryan Belmore. See you next time. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, that was easy. Kind of. But that's going to end us. And if you guys hang out afterwards, backstage, I will say goodbye. And again, thanks everybody for watching. If you missed any portion of this interview, you can watch it again at alexandriabrief.com and listen to it for wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for watching.